As we told you earlier in our show, our poll on racism in Canada shows that the majority of Canadians acknowledge that racism exists in the country today. But as we hear from one expert, the results of this poll also point to a troubling truth. Many Canadians think they played no role in contributing to racism. When we asked, do you act in ways that discriminate against other people? 73% said never.
We are unaware oftentimes of these biases we hold.
Kathy Hogarth, an associate professor at the University of Waterloo, says discrimination often happens outside of someone's own consciousness.
I'm a professor in a prestigious institution. You would think racism doesn't happen, like constantly being asked about how I got there. They won't ask that of my white colleagues. And for the person who's asking those questions, they don't think that's racist.
Our poll also asked Canadians which groups are most likely to suffer discrimination. 97% saying Muslims suffer some level of discrimination. 95% of Canadians agreed that Black people are discriminated against. 94% saying Indigenous people are targets as well. Even as Canadians acknowledged in our poll to varying degrees that discrimination exists, majority don't think they are part of the problem.
We saw enough evidence that this isn't a problem that only exists within one part of the community towards other parts of the community.
In relation to anti-Black racism, for example, we see how non-white, non-Black people also enact and participate in anti-Blackness. And that is not about individual people's wickedness. This is about how the value of Black bodies, in our culture en masse, has been seen as less or the least.
Kike O.J. Thompson, an independent consultant who specializes in anti-racism and organizational change, says our understanding of discrimination is often clouded by the multicultural identity Canadians are raised on. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says some are only now recognizing what many Indigenous and racialized Canadians have known for a long time.
There is systemic discrimination right across our country, in every part of our country, and in our institutions.
But he echoed the sentiment that in many cases it's not deliberate or intentional, and that's why it's so difficult to address. Kathy adds that a lack of data collection on systemic racism in our institutions also compounds the issue, because when we don't collect this information, then we don't have evidence of the magnitude of the problem. In Toronto, I'm Faiza Amin for City News.